Have you ever hidden a letter, a memory, or a painful truth in a drawer, pretending it was gone? In this video, we open that drawer together, slowly, gently, and with surprising discoveries waiting inside. The secret drawer. Imagine you're tidying up your room on a rainy afternoon in Copenhagen. Outside, the sky is gray, raindrops tap rhythmically on the window, and you're just trying to deal with that pile of old papers nobody ever wants to touch. Then suddenly, in the drawer of an old wooden desk, you find a letter, its paper yellowed with age. It just sits there, as if it's been waiting for you all these years. Here's the funny part. Your brain instantly plays its favorite trick. Oh, it's just a letter, I'll read it later. Yes, later can stretch into 10 years. Because sometimes, the truth inside a letter feels scarier than letting it gather dust. You see, neuroscience tells us our brain is wired with something called avoidance coping, a self-defense mechanism that makes us dodge uncomfortable things. Sounds smart, right? In reality, it's like shoving all your dirty laundry into the closet, slamming the door shut, and hoping it magically washes itself overnight. Bad news. It never does. In that moment, the letter in the drawer isn't just a piece of paper. It's a mirror. It reflects everything you've been avoiding, an apology never spoken, a feeling you pushed aside, a truth you ignored just to breathe a little easier. And honestly, we all have a drawer like that. The only question is whether you admit it. If you think this sounds dramatic, well, it kind of is. But it's the everyday kind of drama, like when you open a milk carton and realize it expired last winter. Shocking, but not exactly unfamiliar. So the real question is, will you keep that letter hidden? Or will you dare to touch the truth, even if it makes your heart ache? Fear of the truth. Picture this. You're holding that old letter, fingers trembling just a little, and your brain starts whispering all sorts of nonsense. Don't open it. It'll hurt. You're fine without it. Classic, right? It's like your mind suddenly became a bad lawyer, arguing against the very thing that might actually set you free. Psychologists have a fancy name for this: emotional avoidance. It's what happens when your brain decides that short-term comfort is more important than long-term peace. Instead of facing the truth, you scroll your phone, binge another series, or decide the floor suddenly needs vacuuming. Anything but opening that envelope, and let's be honest, the fear isn't really about the paper or the ink. It's about the possibility that the words inside might change how you see yourself. What if the letter says you were wrong? Or worse, what if it says you were right all along, and you'll have to act on it? That's the kind of truth that keeps people stuck. Think about it. In Denmark, people are known for hygge, cozy moments, candles, soft blankets, hot coffee. But no amount of cozy can fully protect you from the cold truth hiding in your drawer. You can sip all the lattes you want, but deep down, that letter still hums like an unfinished song. Here's the kicker. studies show that avoiding difficult emotions often makes them stronger. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It only bursts up with more force. The truth is stubborn like that. Ignore it, and it grows teeth. Face it, and suddenly it feels a little smaller, a little less terrifying. So when your hand hovers over that envelope, remember this: the monster your brain is warning you about is usually just a shadow. But shadows only disappear when you dare to turn on the light. Everyday life in Copenhagen. Now imagine this. The letter is still sitting in your drawer, waiting, but life doesn't pause. The next morning, you're cycling through the streets of Copenhagen, wind biting your cheeks, bells ringing as other cyclists zip past. On the surface, it looks like any ordinary day. Work, errands, maybe a stop at the bakery for warm Knæsnigel. Yet beneath that steady rhythm of daily life, your mind keeps circling back to the envelope. It's funny, isn't it? You can cross the same bridge every single day, see the same buildings reflected in the canals, and still feel like you're carrying a hidden weight that no one else notices. People around you smile politely, say, hedge, and move on. They don't see the silent battle in your chest. Should you open the letter, or leave it buried? Science has a term for this split state. Cognitive dissonance. The tension of living one life on the outside while another simmers inside. You're pedaling forward, but your brain keeps dragging you back. Ever tried cycling while looking over your shoulder the whole time? Spoiler alert, you'll crash into something eventually. Denmark is known as one of the happiest countries in the world, but even here, happiness isn't armor. You can have sunshine on Nyhavn, cozy cafes, the smell of fresh bread, and still feel the sharp edge of an unspoken truth. Because happiness isn't about pretending everything's fine. It's about having the courage to face what isn't. So as you pedal past the little shops and hear the ding of tram bells, ask yourself, how long can you keep cycling away from something that lives in your own drawer? At some point, you either run out of road, or you finally turn around. Familiar sounds. Step into a Copenhagen cafe for a moment. The air smells of freshly ground coffee. The soft clink of porcelain cups echoes through the room, and outside you hear the hum of a passing tram. People chatter in Danish, their words like background music you don't quite understand but somehow find comforting. These sounds, they're ordinary, yet they wrap you in something strangely safe. But here's the twist. Even in that cozy buzz of life, your brain doesn't stop poking you about the letter. It's like background noise of a different kind, nagging quietly. Hey, remember me? I'm still in the drawer. You stir your cappuccino, smile at the barista, and pretend you didn't hear it. Classic avoidance again, using the soundtrack of life to drown out your own thoughts. Scientists say our brains are wired to associate certain sounds with safety. The hiss of a kettle, the murmur of voices, even the rhythmic clatter of a train, they tell your nervous system, relax, you're not in danger. But here's the ironic bit. Your body might relax, yet your mind still knows there's an unopened truth waiting at home. It's like putting on headphones to block out a fire alarm. Spoiler, the fire doesn't stop. Think of it this way. Everyday sounds are like blankets. You can pile on as many as you want, but if there's an icy draft under the door, you'll still feel the chill. That letter is the draft. No amount of cozy soundscapes can fully drown out its presence. So as the cafe fills with laughter and spoons tapping against cups, ask yourself, are these sounds comforting you, or just covering up the silence that truth is begging for? Because sometimes, silence is the only voice that tells you it's time to listen. Buried memories. Imagine opening a window and suddenly smelling something that drags you back 20 years. Maybe it's cinnamon from fresh Engelsk. Maybe it's the salty breeze from the Öresund. And just like that, you're not in the present anymore. You're 16 again, holding a secret you never told anyone. That's what happens when you think about the letter. It's not just paper, it's a time machine. Neuroscience has a cruel little trick called emotional memory encoding. Basically, your brain tags powerful feelings, love, shame, regret, with extra glue. They stick. That's why you forget where you left your bike keys, but you never forget the words someone shouted at you 10 years ago. The letter is glued to your mind like that, even if you've buried it under layers of busy routines, and buried memories have this annoying habit. They resurface when you least expect it. Maybe while you're shopping for rugbrod, maybe in the middle of a meeting, or maybe just brushing your teeth. Your brain whispers, remember? You haven't dealt with this yet. It's like your subconscious is the worst kind of debt collector, persistent, creative, and always showing up uninvited. Here's the irony. We think burying memories keeps us safe, but in reality, it's like hiding rotten food in the fridge. Close the door, sure, but eventually, the smell seeps out. And the longer you avoid it, the worse it stinks. So when the letter calls up those old memories, maybe it's not trying to hurt you. Maybe it's trying to set you free. But freedom always comes with the price of facing what you've shoved into the dark. The real question is, will you keep letting the past haunt you in flashes, or finally sit down and invite it to speak? A chance conversation. Picture this. You're walking through the streets of Copenhagen, still lost in the echo of those buried memories, when you hear someone call your name. You turn, and there's an old friend you haven't seen in years, standing with that same half-smile that once made you feel understood. You exchange the usual small talk. Weather. Work. Life. But then, out of nowhere, your friend tilts their head and asks, "You seem distracted. What are you avoiding?" Ouch. It's like they reached straight into your chest and pulled the words out you've been trying to hide. Psychologists call this interpersonal mirroring. Sometimes another person reflects back what you're really feeling before you even admit it to yourself. And it stings, doesn't it? Because now the secret isn't just rattling around in your head, it's hovering in the air between you and someone else. Rattling around in your head, it's hovering in the air between you and someone else. You laugh it off, of course. Oh, nothing. Just tired. Classic line. But inside, your brain is screaming. Because deep down, you know they're right. And suddenly, avoiding the letter feels a little less like self-protection and a little more like self-betrayal. Think about it. Conversations have a sneaky power. One question from a friend can be louder than all the tram bells, louder than the cafe chatter, louder even than the excuses in your head. It's like the universe using someone else's voice to tap you on the shoulder. Hey, stop running. So here you are, walking away from that meeting, heart pounding harder than the footsteps on the cobblestones. The question keeps echoing, what are you avoiding? And suddenly, the drawer at home doesn't feel so far away anymore. A pause in the park. Now the city noise fades. You're sitting on a wooden bench in King's Garden, surrounded by tall trees swaying gently in the Danish breeze. Kids are laughing in the distance, tourists snapping photos, but your world shrinks to the glow of your phone screen. You open the Notes app, blank, waiting, and your fingers hover above the keyboard. Instead of opening the letter, you try a smaller step, writing down the words you've been afraid to say. At first it feels silly, like confessing secrets to a piece of glass. But then something happens. Words begin to tumble out. An apology you never gave. A dream you abandoned. A truth you kept hidden even from yourself. Psychologists call this expressive writing, and research shows it actually helps reduce stress and improve clarity. When you write honestly, your brain shifts from chaos to order, like untangling a knot. The thoughts that once felt like a storm start to look more like raindrops, still wet, still real, but suddenly manageable. Of course, your inner critic pipes up, seriously? Talking to your Notes app? That's therapy now? But here's the punchline. Sometimes your phone can be a better listener than the people around you. Because it doesn't interrupt, doesn't judge, doesn't roll its eyes. As you type, the park feels quieter. For the first time, you're not just avoiding the letter, you're edging closer to it. Each word on the screen is like tapping gently on the drawer, testing if you're ready to open it. And maybe, just maybe, you're getting there. So you sit back, watching the clouds drift across the sky, and realize, the first step to opening the letter might not be ripping it open. It might simply be admitting, finally, that it's time. Opening the letter. Back home, the drawer waits. It's quiet in your apartment. The kind of quiet where even the fridge hum feels like a drumbeat. You pull the drawer open, and there it is, the letter. Same paper, same faded ink, but somehow heavier now that you've admitted it matters. Your hand shakes a little. Funny, isn't it? Paper weighs almost nothing, but emotionally, it can feel like lifting a boulder. That's your nervous system at work, sending alarms as if you're about to wrestle a bear instead of unfold stationery. Thanks a lot, brain. You tear the envelope open. Slowly. The sound of paper ripping seems louder than it should, like it echoes through the whole apartment. And then you see it, the handwriting you know too well, shaky, imperfect, achingly human. Just a few sentences. But each one lands like a stone dropped into water, sending ripples through everything you thought you had buried. The letter speaks of regret, of love left unsaid, of truths too heavy to carry any longer. It's not dramatic, no soap opera confession, no life or death ultimatum. Just raw honesty. The kind that hurts because it's real. Psychologists might call this a cathartic trigger, a moment when hidden emotions finally break the surface. And yes, it stings. Your throat tightens, your eyes blur, your chest aches. But beneath the ache, there's also something else, relief. The kind of relief that comes when the monster under the bed turns out to be just a shadow. You set the letter down on the table, heart pounding but lighter than it's been in years. You finally did it. You faced the thing you swore you couldn't. And somehow, the room feels different now, not bigger, not brighter, but freer. The truth sets free. Tears come first, hot, surprising, unstoppable. You laugh at yourself through the blur because really, who cries over old paper? But that's the thing, it isn't about the paper. It's about every word you swallowed, every silence you carried, every truth you tried to bury under layers of "I'm fine." Neuroscientists say that when you finally express long-suppressed emotions, your body literally changes. Stress hormones drop. Your heart rate steadies. Your muscles unclench. Finally exhales after holding its breath for years. And sitting there with that letter, you feel it, the slow, almost sacred release that it's messy, though. Healing usually is. One moment you're crying, the next you're laughing, then you're just staring at the wall like, well, that was a ride. But messy doesn't mean broken. Messy often means real. Think of a child's drawing, lines crooked, colors spilling outside the shapes, yet more alive than any perfect painting. Your healing is that child's drawing, untidy, but vivid. Here's the paradox. The truth hurts, but avoiding it hurts longer. By reading the letter, you didn't erase the pain, you gave it somewhere to go. And that's freedom. Not the Hollywood kind with fireworks and swelling music. More like the Danish kind, quiet, simple, like taking off a heavy coat after winter and realizing spring is already here. You wipe your eyes, fold the letter back up, and place it gently on the table. The words are the same, but you are not. Something has shifted, subtle but irreversible. You are lighter now, not because the truth vanished, but because you finally let it in. A new step forward. The morning light filters through your window, softer than you remembered. Copenhagen wakes outside, bikes rolling over cobblestones, gulls crying above the harbor, the faint clink of someone unlocking their cafe. You stretch, glance at the folded letter on the table, and smile. It hasn't disappeared, it hasn't changed, but somehow it doesn't haunt you anymore. That's the quiet magic of truth. It doesn't erase the past, it loosens its grip. Like untying a knot that's been pulling at your chest for years, you suddenly have space to breathe. And that space? It's the beginning of something new. You slip the letter back into the drawer, not to hide it this time, but to honor it, like storing away a photo album. It belongs to your story, but it no longer controls it. The weight is still there, but it feels more like a stone in your pocket than a chain on your ankles. Psychologists call this integration, the moment when a painful truth is no longer an enemy, but part of your identity. You don't have to fight it, you carry it differently. And carrying it differently changes how you walk through the world. So you grab your jacket, step outside, and let the cool Danish air fill your lungs. The city is the same, but you are not. You're walking lighter, freer, with the quiet courage of someone who has finally faced themselves, and maybe that's the point. Opening the letter wasn't about the words on the page. It was about proving to yourself that you could. Through the letter hidden in the drawer, we discovered how truth transforms life and English learning. Practice slow English listening, reading, and speaking daily. Like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring English stories from Denmark.